Hi, this is Joan. Today's Korean section covers Sura 8, which is known as the Spoils. It's mostly like the battle hymn of the Republic, which I had done when I was baptized and about 23 years old. But Christians, the reason they fight is to make men holy. Sometimes they get involved in other types of fights that have to do with protecting the country. But when Muslims fight, it's to fight non-belief. Usually, I did some study on that, and I'll cover it later. But to start, I'm going to read from, it's verse 35. And 1 to 3. Surah 35, verses 1 to 3. Praise be to you, Allah, maker of heaven and earth, appointer of messengers. When you shower mercy, no force can stop it, and when you withhold it, the same. Help me remember my blessings. There is no other creator but you. Alright. So, it says in this section to remember to always fear God. That is part of Islam and the sign of a true believer. It says in both verse 2 and 12, it says to send terror into the hearts of non-belief. And that it is really Allah killing when there's warfare and not just a militant. That if you believe in God, you will be sheltered and victorious. It's listing that there is no punishment in two areas, and that's when you're asking for mercy or when there's belief mixed in with non-belief. That there is punishment when there's loss of Muslim belief, and that what positions you have kind of is a test of your faith, and purchases make a statement about your belief system. When wealth is obtained during a war, it's divided up into fifths. 1/5 goes to Allah, another to the needy, to relatives, to orphans. And it talks about how if people perish, that it's done with accuracy and evidence. And I thought I would just read some of the last few verses I found. They are... Oh, and then cover the fifths. 1/5 to God, the messenger, relatives, orphans, and the poor. Okay. Then here are the verses I wanted to read directly. To avoid conflict and be steadfast. That Allah doesn't change a blessing once He gives one to His people. That God does annihilate a wrongdoer. That's verse 54. That atheists are considered the worst creatures because of no faith. That unbelief violates treaties. In battle, make them a fearsome example. In verse 58, Allah dislikes treachery. I had to look that up. I wasn't too sure what it was, but it said examples are cheating, a trick, or deceit. Verse 60, prepare the most power for warfare and cavalry. Whatever you spend in the way of God is repaid. In verse 65, to rouse belief to battle. And verse 67, not to take prisoners until you conquer. or defeat a land. That's ungodly. And if you ask for help in religion, that aid is given. So when I was studying what wars there have been that Muslims got involved with, other than unbelief, it listed a Meccan war that was over loss of property and land. Then there was where Mecca fought back, and any time when war is declared on a Muslim, which was, the name looks like Khandaq, Khandaq. There were a series of battles between Christians and Muslims at one point, and I wasn't clear on who won that, but it said that Muslims were, but that the war was around Spain, and the Roman Catholics were able to expand their belief system during that time and increase it well. I did study, I mentioned it once before, the rules of war for a Muslim, that they don't kill women, children, the aged, they don't cut down fruit trees, nor destroy inhabited areas. They don't kill animals unless they're needed for food. And when there's war and spoils, or to the victor remains a spoils. They say to never use it for your own self, but to keep in mind God and the whole reason for fighting for His cause. But it does say that they are always victorious. I'm going to look quickly over my notes, see if I forgot anything. Spirit says, cast terror into the hearts of disbelief, that they're struck in the head and fingertips, to keep your eyes on unbelief. He will undermine their strategy. Our kids and possessions are a test. And the caretaker of a mosque is a righteous person. Makes sense. If disbelief would happen to change your mind, of course, they are forgiven. But we are to fight till there's no more persecution.